Don't miss the gift of responsibility. I work with people all over the world who are searching for the best ways to source their power, to fully embody who they are in a way that creates the outcomes they want in their life. And because we're in this age of awakening, I see some interesting things. I see people leave whatever religion they grew up in, whether it's Christianity, Islam, whatever, and they venture into other teachings, right? And that's cool. That's a natural progression for your spiritual development. I see people then get into meditation and yoga, but there's a thin line between being busy vibrationally and doing a lot of things versus settling into who you have become. I don't care what path you're on, what tools you use, whether it's tracking moon cycles, or, any of these different things. None of these things innately are bad things. But you absolutely can find yourself caught up in just doing these rituals, doing these exercises, doing these things, and never truly becoming more. Take a deep breath and don't just hear these words, but see where they go in your body. Your evolution is evidenced by the quality of your life. All this knowledge I watch people hoard and not fully apply, not allow the information to fully change them. You are the information you need most. You, the one who is fearfully and wonderfully made in the likeness of God. You have God consciousness inside of you already. You're sitting here, you paying this over there for that, this over there for that, and then you're wondering why your financial health looks the way it does, because your behavior, your core value system is running in your subconscious mind saying, I need something outside of me to become more internally. And that is not how the law works here on earth. If you want to fully embody your divine nature and perfectly blend your humanity and your divinity and become a significant person, not for the world, not for this doctrine of ministry and serving everybody else, but just for the pure joy of being able to get through every 24 hours satisfied with yourself. I want you to not get caught up in all of the superficial stuff, even if it has Hotep on it, if it has Namaste on it, if it has Peace Queen, Peace King. Yeah, just because it sounds divine doesn't mean it's what you need. You are what you need most right now. And you have got to figure out what to do with your life. You've got to figure out what to do with your money. You've got to figure out what to do with your health. And there is no bypass or shortcut for that. Yes, affirmations are valuable and words matter, but when you come out of chanting, then what are you going to do with yourself? Then what are you going to do with your life? Part of the reason why I had to shift from the religion I grew up in and the indoctrination of it, the principles are fine. The indoctrination was problematic. I had to shift because it kept me in a chronic state of wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. I'm just going to wish, and but the language was manifesting or having faith, right? I need bigger faith. You need more of you. You keep trying to figure out what to do, and you're missing the bigger lesson, which is Are you really present to the life you have created? Or are you just the manager and you just wake up and start running on autopilot and you're reaching for all these different things, trying to figure out what to do with yourself? But the reality is, you don't even really know how to just exist and be grateful and happy and satisfied with the fact that you woke up this morning and you have the opportunity to create the day instead of survive the day and to try to make it through the day. No, you can actually create the day. I'm inviting you to change. I'm inviting you to become less esoteric and more practical. Or, as they said in my church growing up, stop being so heavenly minded that you are no earthly good. What does it profit you to know the 12 universal laws if those laws aren't giving you a satisfied life? What does it profit you to know your rising sign and your moon sign and where the moon is positioned if you still don't know who you really are and how to wake up and be that? What does it profit you to go get all these readings and go spend thousands of dollars on getting initiated? And please don't be offended, but if you know anything about Tema Aziz Serwa, I'm a straight shooter. Don't you know that there are people in the world who feel like it is their divine assignment to profit off of your ignorance? Like they wake up every day and believe that you need them. They'll sell you things like, if you don't do these things, you could die. If you don't do these things, you could easily be off path. Like they're banking on your insecurities governing your life in such a way that you spend all of your time using them, their resources, and their knowledge as your checkpoint. You can't say we're going into this age of awakening and you're still not awake within. You need you right now. And that is actually the foundational truth for the work I'm pushing into the marketplace around community being the next major healing. Part of the reason our community infrastructure is broken as a people is because we have lost ourselves. So how can you lose yourself and then find your sister or your brother? This is why it's broken, because we are surviving off of superficial interactions, even if it's off of social media. You sit here, you go to these festivals, you go to these healing circles, you go to this stuff, and you leave there and you don't even really know the people you just spent all that time with. Something's broken. And what needs to be fixed, the solution is inside of you, not out there. You'd be happier if your life was more functional. You wouldn't even be searching and running into some of these fraudulent offerings and ideologies that are not sustainable. I don't care how many centuries, thousands of years old some of these teachings are. Just because it's old does not mean it's going to survive the age of awakening. It is education and the true and living God that all of these religions and different things have imitated is very present in each of us, and awakening and standing up. So, again, I'm not here to offend, but I don't lie. I don't pretend. I don't have conversations outside of my truth. It's a wrap. And anything that is rooted in taking people outside of themselves and profiting off of convincing them they need you more than themselves will come down. All false idols and impersonators of the true and living God, the vibration that got all of it started. Yeah, we're watching it in real time with government systems and wars. And yeah, these are the things that the prophets of old, the seers throughout all time, were saying, hey, this is coming. So be careful what you pledge allegiance to. Be careful what you feel like you must have and who you feel you must have in order to be spiritually rooted. And I say that as a woman whose entire business model is centered on empowering the people. People don't come and buy their services, products, and enroll in my programs because I'm more than they are. And if they do, I correct that before I even accept the exchange and come into the covenant of healing with them. I'm not your healer. I am just a woman who is modeling what it looks like to heal everything in her life. And I can witness you remember who you are. That's what I do. And yes, people invest in me financially to give my time and undivided attention to bringing the kind of accountability vibrationally that keeps them centered in themselves. When I have clients that try to become too codependent on my energy, I correct that. I remind them lovingly, it's not me that you need. You could get this done with or without me. That's my expertise. That's my anointing. I run people into themselves. And when they recognize it, they find God there. And they say, the entire time, this is where my power has been? And I say, yes. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Be careful out here in these streets. There are people who wake up every day and they genuinely believe that their path is the path. And they genuinely believe in convincing people that you need to come over here and do things the way I do it. And you should examine that. And I dare challenge you to resist that, because that's just not what's really happening in the world. When we look at the past couple of years, everything in nature has been telling us, get back to yourself, your true nature. Before we had the World Wide Web, before we had social media, before we had all these things that's been built up into our culture, we had nature. We knew how to sit in the sun. We knew how to be by the water. We knew what to do with the soil of the earth. And we used our intuition. We used what was inside of us that directly connected us to this beautiful planet. And we let that govern us before we ever needed a bishop, a pastor, a babalawo, or any of that. Come on now. These are systems. It's one thing to use these systems to express the divinity within. It's another thing to think these systems are going to tell you who God really is. Those of us who know where God is and who God is, the true and living God, have already recognized the impersonations of that God. And I'm not offended by humanity's history and attempt to understand who God is, and the many names and expressions and different texts and all. I think it's beautiful. I love the diversity of God. I love that throughout time we have taken our own experiences and cataloged it. But I'm also very aware that some people use that natural organic experience of self-recognition and God recognition to capitalize on oppressing people and miseducating people. And that energy is dead. It is not sustainable. These systems and these people who preserve these systems is all coming down. Don't fall with it, because you're not willing to abandon what you've already outgrown, what was never designed for you. Yeah, go just expand. Just grow out of it. Don't keep perpetuating teachings and philosophies and ideologies that don't align with what nature is saying is coming. Nature is saying you better hold on to yourself, even if you must let go of old teachings that were inaccurate. It's time for you to get out of this esoteric, ethereal realm. Come back to earth and learn how to be satisfied living here until you decide where your next stop is. Come back to earth, figure out what to do with the 24 hours in front of you before you try to figure out the affirmation for the position of Saturn on the 20th of April. You know what I mean? Like, no shade. Y'all know I'm into all of these things, and I even share my teachings of these things. I'm not trying to offend, I promise, but I am a straight shooter. I'm just saying, like, I remember a few years ago, one of my ex-husbands who was Nigerian, he was Igbo, and he asked me, why you do all this stuff? I had my candles and my herbs. I'm an herbalist, all these different things. And part of my spiritual practice is to express the things that I enjoy. So when he was looking at my sacred spaces and my what I call my spiritual artwork, he interpreted as, oh, she must think her power is in the candle that she's burning, or she must think her power is in the sage she just lit. And I said, you must be a fool to spend all of this time trying to pick apart what I believe, and you got things going on in your life that you're not satisfied with. How do you find the time to over-examine me and pick apart everything I'm doing in my life, and your life is not in order? I shared with him, and there's a reason he's my ex-husband and he's no longer in my orbit. I shared with him, I said, listen, this is my art. I light candles because I like to light candles. I have crystals in my home because I think they're beautiful. And I'm educated on the science and of frequency and energy and vibration. And so these are things I enjoy. I could strip my home bare and never light another incense candle, hold another crystal, boo, 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 and still be raw, unapologetic power and walk through the earth the way I do. So it's not, for me, these things are properly placed in terms of their value. If I can't get to the Botanica and get something done, you're never going to hear me say my life is at risk because I didn't do that particular ritual. Like, I am my daily ritual. And the preservation of my self-concept and my awareness that I have healed my separatism from God is what keeps me in my power. It keeps me waking up every day, asking myself what I'm going to do with this day. It keeps me living in let there be, and it is so. It's not the other way around. If I miss choir rehearsal, it's okay. If I miss Bible study, it's okay. I'm telling you, the culture that we're seeing has set you up to try to find your power outside of you. And you're running all over the place, running over here to get a read, running over here for that. Hey, yo, sit down, relax. Instead of trying to figure out how to get more power, just see yourself as powerful and figure out how you want to use it every day. That's what I offer you. I hope this conversation gave you what you needed to hear, right when you needed to hear it. And if it did, please leave a comment, a like. Please share, tag people that you think can benefit from the dialogue. And then go to thewombsauna.com. See what I'm doing. See the fruit of my spirit and what I have pushed into the world. We have a few different offerings that may support you and really anchoring in this clarity that we talked about. One is our weekly womb healing call that is facilitated through the Woman's Circle of Empowerment. You can find that at thewombsauna.com/WCOE. And we also have a 1-year self-development program where you get to sit with yourself for a year and assess the different areas of your lifestyle and come up with a plan and implement it in a sacred container that I've created for you to be able to run into yourself and learn to be satisfied with what you find there. So if you have any questions, you can reach my team. We answer our phones 24/7, 888-576-9662. Because we are an international company, that's why we answer 24/7. We got people in all different time zones. So when I say you can call us at any time, I mean that. I know how to serve the world market. So